If you're watching this while lying in bed, you might want to make sure your mouth is closed, because SCP-439 doesn't need much space to turn your ribcage into a nursery.
Item number SCP-439, Object Class, Euclid.
Special containment procedures are as follows. SCP-439 is to be kept in a sealed Type 4 airtight containment unit at Site-19. The unit must be constructed of reinforced plexiglass and equipped with a double-door airlock system to prevent accidental release. All personnel entering the containment area must wear Level 3 hazardous material suits equipped with self-contained oxygen supplies.
No personnel are permitted to sleep within the containment zone under any circumstances. In the event of a containment breach, the area must be sealed and flooded with concentrated gaseous insecticide, followed by a thermal sweep to ensure the destruction of all biological matter. Any instance of SCP-439 found outside of containment must be incinerated immediately.
Description: SCP-439 is an insectoid organism that bears a striking physical resemblance to the common earwig, Forficula auricularia. It measures approximately 2.5 centimeters in length. While it shares the appearance of its non-anomalous cousins, its behavior and reproductive cycle are vastly more specialized and predatory. SCP-439 is a nocturnal hunter, and its primary objective is the location of a suitable host for its hiving process. The creature's preferred habitat is areas of high human density. It is remarkably adept at entering domestic residences through pipes, vents, or small structural cracks. Once inside, it seeks out a sleeping human subject. The entry point into the host is almost always the mouth, or less frequently, the ear canal or nasal passage. Once inside the host's body, SCP-439 migrates to the thoracic cavity and begins a process that can only be described as biological architectural reconstruction.
The transformation, referred to as the hiving phase, is a rapid and agonizing ordeal for the host. Upon reaching the chest cavity, the specimen produces a potent neurotoxin that induces total skeletal muscle paralysis. This toxin does not affect the host's sensory perception or consciousness. The victim remains fully awake and aware of everything that follows, but is unable to move, speak, or scream. Over the next 48 hours, SCP-439 begins to dismantle and repurpose the host's anatomy. Using a combination of caustic enzymes and surgical precision with its mandibles, the creature triggers a massive hormonal shift in the host's body. The skeletal structure is the first to change.
The bones are softened and then re-hardened into new, grotesque configurations. The ribcage is expanded and cracked outward, forming a protective, cage-like exterior for the hive. The spine is elongated and curved to provide a central structural support for the colony's growth.
Internal organs are not spared. The digestive tract is redirected and shortened to more efficiently process the nutrients provided by the worker insects that will soon inhabit the body. The lungs are partially collapsed to make room for the queen's chamber, but remain functional enough to keep the host alive. The host's circulatory system is hijacked to distribute the pheromones and nutrients required by the growing colony. By the end of the transformation, the host is no longer recognizable as a human being. It has become what Foundation researchers call a bone hive. The hive is a stationary, fleshy mound of bone and distorted tissue, roughly the size of a large trunk. It remains biologically alive, its heart beating slowly, and its brain showing high levels of activity, indicating that the original host is still conscious despite the total loss of their physical form. Once the hive is established, the original SCP-439 specimen, now the queen, begins laying eggs at a rate of several hundred per day. These eggs hatch into workers, smaller, sterile versions of the original insect. These workers exit the hive through the host's mouth or through new orifices created in the distended skin to forage for organic matter. This matter is brought back to the hive, processed and fed to both the queen and the host to maintain the biological integrity of the structure. A bone hive can persist for several months or even years, provided the worker insects can find enough food to sustain the host's vital functions.
During this time, the host's eyes are often left intact, though they are usually glazed over with a protective layer of hive-secreted wax. Observations show that the eyes frequently track movement in the room, suggesting the host's mind is trapped within the repurposed shell of its own body.
Addendum 439A, Incident Report and Discovery. SCP-439 first came to the Foundation's attention following a series of missing persons reports in a suburban neighborhood in the United States. Local police discovered what they believed to be a large, pulsating tumorous growth in the bed of a 34-year-old male who had been reported missing for 3 weeks. When the responding officer touched the growth, thousands of insects swarmed out of the victim's open, distorted mouth, leading to the officer's hospitalization and the eventual intervention of Foundation containment teams.
Addendum 439-R, Post-mortem analysis of subject D43901. In a controlled environment, D-Class personnel D43901 was exposed to a single specimen of SCP-439. The transformation was documented via X-ray and thermal imaging. Day 1, subject reported a biting sensation in the back of the throat before the neurotoxin took effect. Total paralysis achieved within 3 minutes. Subject's heart rate spiked to 140 beats per minute, indicating extreme distress.
Day 2, skeletal restructuring begins. The sound of bones snapping and grinding was audible from outside the containment glass. The subject's skin began to stretch and translucent patches appeared, showing the movement of the SCP-439 specimen beneath the surface.
Day 3, the subject's facial features were pulled back as the skull was widened. The jaw was permanently dislocated to allow for the free passage of worker insects. The first brood of workers emerged at 1400 hours.
Day 15, the hive is fully operational. A researcher approached the hive to collect a sample of the structural bone. As the scalpel touched the surface, the hive's lungs emitted a wheezing, high-pitched sound, a result of the host attempting to scream through a constricted larynx. The subject's remaining eye focused on the researcher and began to produce tears.
Addendum 439X, Researcher's Note. It is a common misconception that the most horrifying part of SCP-439 is the physical transformation. It isn't. The most horrifying part is the repairs. We have observed that if the bone hide is damaged, if a piece of the host's bone is broken or the skin is torn, the worker insects will immediately swarm the area.
They don't just use wax or silk to fix it. They stimulate the host's own healing process, forcing rapid, localized cellular growth to seal the wound. They need the host to stay alive. They need the host to be a prison.
Even more disturbing,
is the chemical analysis of the hive's interior. We found high concentrations of a substance similar to human endorphins, but far more potent. The insects seem to be pumping the host's brain with these chemicals, not to provide comfort, but to prevent the host from dying of sheer traumatic shock. They are keeping the host in a state of perpetual drug-induced wakefulness, ensuring that the biological machine never shuts down. The queen specimen eventually dies after producing several thousand offspring. When the queen dies, the workers begin to consume the hive itself, starting with the non-essential fatty tissues and ending with the vital organs. The host remains alive until the very end, finally expiring only when the heart or brain is consumed. Once the hive is hollowed out, the new fertile females, the next generation of queens, fly out to find new homes. If you hear a clicking sound in your walls tonight, or if you feel a tickle in your throat as you drift off to sleep, remember that SCP-439 is very small, very patient, and it has plenty of room for you. Subscribe for more containment briefings.